Before anything else, mark your calendar. The NBA Draft Lottery is happening on May 12th, just before the semi-final game between the Knicks and Celtics. It's scheduled for 7 a.m., and several teams are already holding their breath. Right now, the teams with the highest odds of landing the number 1 overall pick are the Utah Jazz, Washington Wizards, and Charlotte Hornets. But don't sleep on the Houston Rockets. They're a wild card. Depending on how things fall, they could sneak into the top 10. Here's why. Houston could end up with a pick from the Brooklyn Nets, depending on the protections and conditions. And because the Rockets have a 4.5% chance of moving up in the lottery, there's a possibility they could land even higher. While the playoffs are still heating up, other teams are already shifting focus to the offseason. Trades, drafts, and free agency moves are coming, and some front offices are already drawing up big plans. One team to keep an eye on? Milwaukee. Why? Because the Rockets own the Suns' first-round pick, and that pick could play a major role in Houston's offseason, especially if Giannis Antetokounmpo makes a move. Believe it or not, there are already rumors floating around that Houston could be a potential landing spot for Giannis if he requests a trade. Losing Giannis would be a major blow to the Eastern Conference, especially with so many stars already shifting west. If a trade happens, Houston's front office is reportedly focused on keeping Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson as part of their core. Meanwhile, Jalen Green's name has been circulating in trade rumors, mainly because of his disappointing performance in his playoff debut. Now, to be fair, Green never said he'd win in the playoffs, just that he'd bring the Rockets there, and he did. But some commentators, like Nick Wright, have already capped Green's ceiling, saying he may never be more than a high-level role player like Colin Sexton. Let's look at the numbers. In the postseason, Green has averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting just 37% from the field and 29% from deep. That's a big drop from his regular season average of 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, with 42% FG and 35% three-point shooting. Then there's the contract. Green's on a 3-year, $105 million deal, which breaks down to roughly $33 to $36 million per year. That's no small number, especially if he's going to be the centerpiece of a blockbuster trade package, say, for Giannis. If that trade ever happens, Giannis would be joining a much younger core in Houston than he would in most other teams, and the Rockets still have cap flexibility to build around him. Meanwhile, over in LA, the Lakers are facing their own dilemmas. Austin Reeves has had a rough postseason, averaging just 16 points per game. This isn't a one-time thing either. He's struggled in 3 straight playoff runs now, which is becoming a trend. And that's a problem for the Lakers, because Reeves is due for a new contract. According to reports, the Lakers might feel pressured to trade him this offseason, depending on how contract negotiations go. Right now, LA can offer $89 million over 4 years, thanks to restrictions in the collective bargaining agreement. That would void his 2027 player option, but there's a catch. If Reeves waits and bets on himself, his next deal could be worth as much as $180 to $200 million, especially if the salary cap increases in 2026. That's life-changing money, the kind of contract you don't pass up. But it also puts the Lakers in a tough spot. If Reeves walks, they'll lose a key player. But if they try to keep him, they'll have to juggle the cap space needed to retain Luka Doncic, who's also due for a major extension. Speaking of Luka, he could be looking at a $228 million deal over the next 3 to 4 years. That's a lot of money tied up in just 2 players, especially if LeBron James decides to stick around and waits to play with Bryce, his youngest son. There's a real possibility the Lakers end up paying 3 generations of the James family, and that's just not sustainable. That's why teams around the league are keeping an eye on Austin Reeves. Right now, his deal is still affordable, but if he gambles on free agency, things could get tricky fast. And look, Reeves is known as a risk taker. If he turns down a deal this offseason, it could be a huge gamble, especially with that player option looming. But if it pays off, he's looking at generational wealth. Now, let's head to Miami, where Pat Riley made headlines again. In a recent statement, he said he still believes older players can contribute at a high level, and people immediately connected that comment to one name: Kevin Durant. There are two teams watching Durant closely: Minnesota, which doesn't really need him right now, and Miami, a team that's been desperately searching for a true superstar to pair with Jimmy Butler. Miami has a long history of going after big names, but they keep missing. Will KD finally be the one they land? Or will this just be another chapter in the Heat's long pursuit of a second star? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. And hey, if you want to keep up with the latest playoff storylines and off-season rumors, make sure to check out the next video that's on your screen right now. See you there.